Hi, this is Dan Gilmartin, part of the Gilmartin Group real estate company in Burlingame, California, April 20th, 2020, with your Monday morning market minute. Sorry if I sound a little different today. I forgot my adapter for my microphone, so I apologize if the sound isn't very good, but we do have a very good Monday morning market minute today. It's going to be a little bit longer. I've got some slides I want to show you as we work through this health crisis. I got some interesting information that I think that will put some pretty good perspective on it. So, single family inventory from South San Francisco to Redwood City right now is 157. That's up from 156 of last week. Last year at this time, that number was 147. We had 25 homes come on the market. Last week, we had 25 homes come on the market. The week before that, we had 26 homes come on the market. So as we go through this health crisis, we're still having about 25 homes still coming on the market. Here's some fabulous news. 21 homes went into contract. Last week, that number was 10. We've doubled. Now, last year at this time, that number was at the 40 number that we like to see week in and week out. And typically, we're in the spring market right now, and that's usually when we would see that 40 number week in and week out. But for what's going on right now, to have 21 homes go under contract is very, very encouraging. Condominiums right now, we have 67 condominiums on the market. That's up from 54 of last week. Last year this time, that number was 73. So we have less condominiums on the market right now than we did last year at this time. We also had 25 condominiums come on the market and only 3 condominiums go into contract. Last week that number was 4. So the condominium sales market is down and not really trending the way we want it to go. So total from South San Francisco to Redwood City, single family homes and condominiums inventory is 224. Now that's up from 210 of last week, but last year at this time, that number was 220. So we only have 4 more homes on the market this year than we did last year this time. That's very, very encouraging. Still, that's a super, super low number. So where do we go from here? We have a couple really big questions we're all asking ourselves. Number one, what's going on with the unemployment? The unemployment conversation is dramatic, to say the least. And so with that entail, Dan, where do you think this market's going, or where do you think we're headed? Well, clearly I don't have, the exact answers for that, but what I do have is some great information to show you right now to help put some perspective on what's going on right now and as we move forward. So the first slide I want to show you, as it relates to the unemployment, the current unemployment projections compared to past financial crises. So on the left here, we have the Goldman Sachs projections. Now, we're using the Goldman Sachs projections because they have the most conservative projections out of the other banks at the moment. So we look at, we're going to go from left to right here. Right now, their projection for 2020 is what we're seeing and we're feeling right now is a 15% unemployment rate, which is absolutely unbelievable. And if we compare that to the Great Recession times of 2008 and 2009, 7.3 and 9.9%, certainly we are way above that. And if you compare that even to the Great Depression, this 15% is more of a Great Depression type of number for unemployment. Now, as we move into next year, the projection is that it comes down from 15%, and we're going to see it, more around 6 to 8%. Now, if we compare that to the 2008 through the 2010, let's just even say how much better that is and how you can start to visualize a V-shape happening with this unemployment number. And of course, if we compare that to the Great Depression, that is, a much better number. And then as we move into 2022 and 2023, we're more of a normal or a number that I think we typically see we're closer to around 4 or 5% of unemployment. And as we compare that to the Great Recession, as we were working through the Great Recession throughout 2013, how much better that 4% of unemployment rate scenario is then of course if you compare that to the Great Depression, the dramatic difference there. So you kind of get a little visualization. Now this hurts. This is a big deal. And what's really happening is it's happening now. It's happening fast. It's happening deep. So the next thing I want to show you is the what it looks like in terms of the depth of this unemployment rate is much better than the length. So on this graph here, we're going to show, I want you to see the numbers up top for the 2-year, 9-year, and 12 years. So right now the projection is, again, this 15% drop in unemployment, and then it starts to rebound itself as the projection in about we look at a year and a half, 2 years from now, and you can see how that the projection creates this massive V-shape outlook. And then we compare that to the Great Recession from 2006 to 16, how that took 9 years to get those jobs back and get this back, and how much more that hurts to take that long to get the jobs back. And then if you compare that to the Great Depression, how that took 12 years. So yes, this is happening now. This is unbelievable. It's deep and it's fast. But the projections right now is that that we'd rather have it deep and fast and come out than long and drawn out. Moving on, I want to show you this. What the major financial institutions are calling, again, this V-shaped recovery. So in the second quarter, right now, we're entering into the second quarter, we have Morgan Stanley projecting a 37.9% of on GDP. Excuse me, we're getting into the economy. So obviously, we're talking GDP. So we're going to have this 37.9 drop in GDP in the second quarter, and then as we're moving forward into the third quarter, 3 out of these 4 banks are projecting positive GDP, with Wells Fargo still showing a negative GDP, but they all agree that in the fourth quarter moving forward that we'll have positive GDP. So in terms of the economy and this V-shaped conversation, right now the projections are this V-shaped moving forward. And lastly, I'd like to show you a great quote I got out of Goldman Sachs. If policymakers manage to thread the needle, very important, threading the needle, between continued virus control and gradual reopening of the economy, the level of GDP should begin to move higher in months ahead. Well, yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly what we're doing together. We're going to work together. We're going to thread this needle. This country's threaded the needle before. We're going to do it again. And all the men and women on the front lines right now, you can see everything we're all doing right now. We are threading the needle. And when I look at 21 sales last week in our market, in this scenario, that's signs of threading the needle and making it through. I've also stated in the past couple minutes that we're heading into a recession. GDP technically will show that we're going to be in a recession, and a recession does not equal a housing crisis. And again, you look at going from 10 sales last week to 21 sales this week. That's very, very encouraging, and it's going to be the housing market that's going to help lead the way in this V-shaped bounce back. Now, we're going through some turbulent times right now, and things are shaking. And it's when things are shaking, that's the hard part of getting a needle, threading a needle. Last time I tried it, it's not easy, but we can do this. So together we continue to think positive. Obviously, we continue to use our local retailers that the restaurants are to go, trying to as we slowly start reopening things. Very important for us to get out there and do our part, that much that we can. And if you're able to, and you have the ability to buy a home right now, not only is it a great time for you because there's not as many offers typically, although last week I had a couple of scenarios where there were some multiple offers. As a matter of fact, about a week and a half ago, we sold a home in Sunnybray. $62,000 over the asking price in the multiple offer situation. Yet, for buyers right now, you have the ability to buy a home. You want to help lead the way of this economy, lead this V-shaped recovery, buy a home. And the ripple effect that happens when real estate, when a home is bought, is going to be tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. Again, let's just keep thinking positive. Be safe. Stay healthy. We're going to get through this. We're getting through this. The light is getting brighter at the end of the tunnel. So thanks for listening. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you next week.